Hello and happy Tuesday. My name is Wendy Lee, and you can find me at creativeleeyours.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US and excited that you're joining me today for our crafty fun. Yay! So if you're watching this video when it premieres, today is Tuesday, December 31st. Typically, I'm live with you in the comments or chat, actually. It's a travel day for me coming back from Christmas break. So I may be in the chat. I may not be in the chat, but rest assured, I will come back and make sure I answer any questions that you might possibly have. Yes? Yay. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. Yay. So exciting to start a new year. So many things, as always, going on in the studio this week. We have registration going on now for our Cultivated Creativity DIY paper crafting kit. And we've got some new products for you to see, all kinds of good things. So I'll have a sneak peek of that video in just a couple of days, probably tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. We'll see when I get home. Right? So we'll get that out there so you guys can see a sneak peek of those projects and join us if you're not already a subscriber. I also have registration going on for product shares, for our spring product shares. So we have new online exclusives being released, a new mini catalog, and some celebration items, yay, that you can earn for free. So I do offer a paper and ribbon share, so hopefully you'll check that out on my website. Of course, the best way to stay up to date on everything is to join my email list because that's where you stay in the know. Yes, of course, of course. All right, let's go ahead and switch the camera over and get started on today's crafty fun. All right, so today's project is going to feature the Natural Botanicals stamp set. So this is a reversibles stamp set, which means you can use either side of the stamped image, which is really cool. So they've made it a little different than our other stamps to allow it to stick either way temporarily. So you've got the back side will stamp your shadow or kind of a fill, although some of them are reversed, as you can see on some of these leaves, and some of them are matching so that you could do like a two-step with it and fill in color, right? Either way, you can use it both ways, and both are fun. It makes it very fun and artsy, and it does the work for us, right? Which is so cool. So this is actually the stamp set that we are featuring for our January Cultivated Creativity DIY paper crafting kit, and we're bringing in some fun marker techniques. So I hope that you will join us if you're not already a Cultivated Creativity subscriber. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do a technique with painter's tape. So I love to be able to use household items to add a little fun to my projects, to my crafty projects. So hopefully you do as well. And I'm going to show you how to create this fun, bright and bold background. And you can see in the background of the card here and on the inside as well, because we always bring our design to the inside, we're using those shadow and detail images together as well. So super fun, super easy. So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do this one here. All right, let's get started. First of all, let's do our background technique on the layers. So I've got a piece of Daffodil Delight that's 3.5 by 4 3/4, and I also have a piece of white that is the same size, okay? So we are going to do a little bit of stamping. So let me grab my Daffodil Delight ink pad. Okay, and then we will grab the large image. So you can choose to do the detail first, or you can choose to do the shadow first. Either one is perfectly fine. I'm on the detailed side, so I'm going to do the detailed first. So I'm just going to stamp on the inside. And then I'm going to stamp a couple of times on the outside to make kind of a fun little background pattern to my project here. All right, so then we need to clean this. So I personally prefer my Stampin' Scrub and Mist versus the chamois, but you could use either one. It's entirely up to you on what you prefer. So now I can take this image and literally flip it over to the back side, and it will stick to my block. And now I can stamp the shadow. So you can do these in any order. It doesn't matter. So now I've got my shadow. Now, if you want a lighter appearance of the ink when you're doing the shadow, you can stamp off, which means stamp it on a piece of scrap paper first
and then stamp onto your cardstock. So either way, entirely up to you. And every time I do this, my project is a little bit different, and I love that about it, right? Kind of a fun way to use this. All right, let's put this away, and I'm going to set these aside for just a moment. We're going to go ahead and let me wipe off the excess ink I've got on my glass mat, right? We don't want that all over everything. So next I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet. And then painter's tape. So I have in my favorite things on my website, I have an Amazon store, or actually several of them. And you can find that some of my favorite things are masking this painter's tape. And I love this particular one because it comes in different widths. For what I'm doing today, I'm going to use this wider width. It is a little narrower than what I did on my original, but I think it's still going to work out fabulously. Now, I've die cut my front layer with these new linked together dies. These are coming in the mini catalog coming on January 7th of 2025. Of course, you can get them now if you are a demonstrator. So if you'd like to join my Diamonds team, you could even add these to your starter kit and get those. So I've cut out a piece of white and a piece of Melon Mambo with this lovely die here. Now I'm going to set the Melon Mambo aside. We're going to use the white layer. Now I want to take this, and first thing I want to do is I want to trim away just a little bit on the outside edge of this. So I'm going to go around and cut off a 16th. So I'm going to use this gray cutting channel as my guide. So I'm going to line that edge up to that gray cutting channel, and then I can just trim that away. So it's going to cut off that 16th of an inch on all four sides. Okay. And one more. Perfect. So now we have the perfect shape for layering our images together. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to grab my Melon Mambo ink pad, and I want a nice length of the painter's tape. Now I like to go longer than what I need on the image, but if you can go longer than your stamp pad as well, that is actually nice, because then you don't get as much ink on you as you would otherwise, right? So let's go ahead and take this, and I'm going to put this right into my ink pad. Now I'm going to grab just a scrap piece of paper here. I'm going to go ahead and fold it up because I don't need it to be big. But I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper because I don't want to get my hands all inky, or not as inky as they could be, right? So I'm just going to use that to press that tape right down in there, and that's going to pick up my ink. And then I'm going to lay it right across my cardstock. And let's go ahead and give that a good push. I shouldn't get ink on me this way, but let's do it anyway. Put our scrap paper on there. Okay, and then we can slowly reveal this, and you can see that it has now added that ink color right onto our project. Now I'm going to set this one aside because I might go back and add more of that particular color. So I'm going to set this over to the side. You could get a new piece each time. I'm not going to reuse that for a different color. I'm going to change on each color. All right, so let's switch to Flirty Flamingo next. And you can see where this painter's tape is a little bit narrower than my original design. All right, let's grab another piece of painter's tape. I should have had these already pulled off, shouldn't I have? And we'll just pull this, and I'm going to put this right across the pad. Let's see, is that going to give me a long enough length? Yeah, I think so. If not, we'll do it a second time. It's all good. All right, so here again, I'm going to fold my little scrap paper, and I'm going to put some pressure on this to make sure that ink transfers right to that painter's tape. Place that right on my project here, and I'm going to rub and then slowly reveal. Beautiful. It's working fabulously. All right, let's do a second one so we can put it on the other end of our Melon Mambo. And my pads are nice and juicy. I like to make sure I ink them up really well before I do a technique like this. That way I get really good transfer. Now you could choose not to. You could choose to have less transfer. Nice. Love that one. That one turned out really good. Okay, let's switch into our last color, which is going to be Daffodil Delight. Okay, So you could overlap your colors. You could change the widths and do the different widths of painter's tape. It's entirely up to you on how you want to go about this, right? And you can mix and match it. It's just a fun way to try to use some things a little differently, right? All right, grab our scrap paper. We're going to press that right down in. And again, lift, and we'll place that right on our card. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And then let's do one more. Okay. And we'll place that at the bottom and rub that. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, so I've got white points. Again, my tape is a little narrower than my original. So I could either leave that white, I could take the tape that I just used and do a second time to make that a little bit wider. Or I could come back and put the melon mambo there as well. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do another little bit of the yellow. Let's see if we just add a little more yellow to the top. Yeah. And a little more yellow to the bottom. Nice. And so that filled in for me. And like I said, it's okay if the widths are just a little bit different. Now, if you wanted to come back and do a little bit of overlap, you could do that and layer those up again. Up to you completely. All right. So I want this to dry for just a moment. So let's go ahead and adhere our layers onto our card base. So I'm going to take my 4 1/4 by 11 Daffodil Delight card base. And we'll use our bone folder on that edge. Whoop, there's my thread flosser popping out. No stringing of ribbon through holes today, so I don't need that one. All right, and then I'm going to take my vanilla. Where in the world did I get vanilla from? My Daffodil Delight layer that we stamped, right? And we'll slide this right down on here. Nice. And then let's add this layer to the inside. I already love this. Like you could take this as is, add a sentiment and be done, right? It's so pretty. Or at least I think it's so pretty. Okay, nice. So there's that. Now we are ready to stamp our focal point on our layer here. So I'm going to do that in basic black, keeping it simple. So we're using our Memento black ink for this. And we'll grab this floral image. Now, I love this one. I'm using the stem straight, but you could angle that if you wanted to. Change that up a little bit. One thing I love about photopolymer stamps, that you can do that. And let's see. I'm going to put it right there. Sounds good, right? Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Do you like this one? I love it. Just fun, fun. All right, we are ready to remove this from our silicone craft sheet. So the ink I got on here, I will be able to just rinse that off under the sink and it will all wipe away really easily. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere this lovely layer here that we've just created. Fun way to do your focal point. And I'm just going to center it best that I can. Nice. And then we're going to pop this up. I like things popped up on my cards. If you don't, you can do yours flat, but I'm going to pop mine up with some dimensionals. If you're new to me and you're like, why are her dimensionals purple? I color the backings of mine with a highlighter so that I can see if the backing paper has been removed. Yes, it's shiny when you remove them, but I can't always tell that. As I age, you know, life gets harder. So that has helped me a lot. I make a lot of cards, so little time savers like that are very, very helpful for me. All right, let's grab a scrap of basic black cardstock. Let's see, do I have my embossing buddy? I keep stealing it from my workspace, so I never know if it's going to be here or not be here. So we're going to use our embossing buddy just so that we don't end up with embossed specks where we don't want them. And I'm using the Just a Note stamp. Put that right down on there. And we're going to heat emboss that with white powder. Now I recommend heating up your heat tool first before you use it on a dark colored cardstock especially. And you're going to hold it about 1 inch to 1.5 inches away and you're going to wait for it to start to melt. Once the powder starts to melt, just kind of work your way along the image until everything has been melted. You want to do it just until it melts. You don't want to overdo the melting because it will burn it. It'll scorch it, and then it doesn't look as good. All right, let's go ahead and trim this down. So we can trim this down with our paper snips or with our paper trimmer. I've got my trimmer here, so let's go ahead and trim that down, assuming I am straight along the top there. We can always take our snips back to it if we need to. And let's see, that looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold that and do that though. I'm gonna go with that. If it's crooked, it's crooked. I can always trim it. Nice, I'm pretty happy with that actually. I don't think I said, the Just a Note came from the Linked Together stamp set. So that's that die set I showed you and this stamp set are available in a bundle. So you can save 10% when you get them together. All right, let's grab, we've got a little bit of our new Daffodil Delight. I love this ribbon, so dainty. It's just so cute. And so we're going to take this, I'm going to put a little Stampin' Seal on the back of my sentiment here. And then I'm going to fold this back and forth. So this ribbon will be included in my ribbon and paper share that I'm doing. So that registration closes January 6th. So if you want in, I may close it earlier if it gets full. All right, so I've got my ribbon stuck to the back there, a little faux bow, and then I wanted to go ahead and add this to the front of my card with some dimensionals. So this particular project, let's pull in some black dimensionals. How about some mini black dimensionals? I didn't have those on the supply list. So when you go out to my website and you go and pull this supply list, which is available now, it is not going to show black dimensionals. It's going to show regular ones, but that's okay. We can use some black ones. Oh, 2 came off. That's okay. I'm going to use those. No big deal. And I'm not going to go all the way to the end. And the reason being is I want this to hang off the edge. Now, if it bothers you not to have dimensionals for stability on this outer edge, you could always double stack them. So cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Nice. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of bling. So I am pulling in some sequins that are from our celebration offering. So purple adhesive back sequins. So these will be available to earn for free during our celebration promotion that starts January 7th and runs through the end of February. Of course, if you're a demonstrator, you can also earn these now with your orders, which I love. So we're able to go ahead and pre-earn some of these fabulous items as well. Nice perks, right? So if you're interested in joining my Diamonds team, I'd love to have you anytime, of course, right? Just sprinkle on a few of those. Beautiful. What do you think? I love it. So you guys will have to tell me if you're going to give this a try and what colors you would use. All right. If you enjoyed the content today, give me a thumbs up. And I'd love for you to invite your crafty friends to join us next Tuesday for a little bit of crafty fun. And I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.